Are you an indie podcast or content creator looking to reach a wider audience? Look no further. Introducing Podcastic, the ultimate podcast network designed exclusively for indie creators like you. At Podcastic, we believe in the power of unique voices and fresh perspectives. We're here to amplify your passion and creativity, connecting you with a growing community of engaged listeners who crave original content. Podcastic is more than just a platform. It's a support system built for indie podcasters, offering a range of resources to help you succeed. From tailored promotional campaigns to professional production assistance, we're here to help you shine. Our intuitive platform makes it easy for you to be seen and heard. We do all the heavy lifting for you. You just show up and create. Plus, with our advanced analytics, you'll gain valuable insights into your audience's preferences, allowing you to refine your content and grow your fan base. Ignite your passion, expand your reach, and thrive with podcasting. Visit our website at www.podcasticlife.com to get started. Podcastic, the home for indie podcast and content creators.
What up, what up, what up, what up, though? Happy Thursday, everybody. We are back with another amazing episode of A State of Mind right here on Podcastic, and I am so excited about today. First of all, I didn't even know this is my 2-year anniversary with Molintium Realty Services, so it's been 2 years since we've been in business, we've been established. Out here serving the community with property management, rentals, project management, and real estate services. So I'm really excited for myself today. But mostly important, I got an amazing guest right here to my left. I'm going to introduce my girl, Jackie. She's here with the county taxes or the city tax assessor's office, and she's going to help us comb through all of those difficult questions dealing with the property taxes. So no further ado, welcome, Jackie.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I know that property taxes are a huge topic in the city of Detroit.
Yes.
So happy to answer any questions.
Okay, perfect. All right, because you know they be ready to roll.
I know.
And I know one thing. Me in real estate, I love real estate, but I don't fuck with the taxes. Don't ask me about no tax assessments, no SEVs, none of that. I don't know anything about that.
And see, that's where we have to start at.
Okay.
I really want the real estate agents to really begin to educate themselves, because you get the phone calls when they uncap.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
If you can help mitigate that in the beginning, you save a lot of strife for the person who's purchasing in the end. So It's important for y'all who are selling the properties to really understand how that's going to affect the person that's buying it, because then they come down to the assessor's office, they come down to the board of review.
And I know that they missed that deadline recently. If they didn't come, wasn't it a deadline?
Yes, so we just got done with March Board of Review, which is the one time a year in the state of Michigan where you can appeal the valuation of your property. And a lot of times, not all the time, it can impact your taxable value. So it's very important that you pay attention to that yellow notice that you get in the mail, because it says this is not a bill, but it doesn't mean that it's not important.
Okay. So let's talk about that, Bill, because one of my clients, I don't know if she's watching it right now, but she sent me a copy of her yellow bill yesterday.
All right.
And she actually missed her deadline. So right now, I got this yellow bill here in front of me. Taxable value was at $21,000, and then another value, assessed value, was at $72,900 for 2024. Mm-hmm. Okay, so then we have another year that went up to $81,000 for the taxable value, and then the assessed value went up to $85,000 as well. What does that mean?
Okay, so your assessed value and your taxable values are two different numbers, okay? And I'm going to ask you some questions so I can fully understand what took place from year to year, but I want to start off with the basics.
Okay.
Your assessed value is 50% of the true cash value of the property that the city has determined for your property.
Okay.
So your assessed value can never be more than 50% of your true cash value.
Okay.
And what happens is in the state of Michigan, all municipalities utilize what's called a mass sales study, right?
Okay.
Because they can't go into your house and see exactly what's going on with your property.
Right.
So they take similar sales of homes that are like yours, around the same square footage in the same community, and they come up with this number and they place that on your property based on the sales in the area.
Okay.
And they only use arm's length transactions, meaning the property was put on the open market. People had a chance to actually see the property.
Okay.
You know, these prices are reflective of the market value. Here's the thing, though. Because it's a 2-year study, like for 2026, the 2-year study that was utilized was April 1st of 2023 to March 31st of 2025. Those are the numbers that we're using to put values on your properties.
Got you.
Okay. Your taxable value is the value that the number that they use to base your taxes on when they multiply it times the millage rate. I don't want to get into the millage rate right now.
Okay.
Because that's y'all fault.
Okay.
Y'all voted for it.
Okay.
All right?
Okay. They did it.
Y'all did it. City of Detroit got some of the highest millage rates in the area because we voted for those millages, and it does make a difference in your property tax obligation.
Oh, shit.
So your taxable value uncaps the year after you purchase the property.
Okay.
So you purchase the property a year after, you do not inherit the benefit of the previous owner's taxable value. So when your buyers come to you and they say, well, how much are they paying in property taxes? And you say, oh, they only paid $1,500 last year, right?
Right. That's not what they gonna pay this year.
No. No.
Oh,
No.
shit.
Now, this is written into the state constitution. This has nothing to do with the city of Detroit. There is not a county thing. Your property tax is uncapped, and the taxable value is brought up to the same rate as that assessed value.
Okay. Okay.
And then the cap is put back on
For another 2 years?
for forever until you transfer the property to somebody else.
Okay.
And it increases at the rate of inflation at max 5%. Okay?
Okay.
So that's why you see your assessed value going up and down,
Uh-huh.
and your taxable value is just going up slowly.
Yeah.
And you like, but my assessed value dropped $10,000 last year. Why did my taxes go down? Because it didn't fall below the taxable value number.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'm following it.
You following
I'm
it?
following it.
Okay. So your friend, what was the oldest year? What's the assessed value for the oldest year?
The oldest year assessed value right here is 2024.
Okay. And what does the assessed value say?
It was 72.9.
Okay. And the taxable?
Was $21,000.
Okay. Now go to 2025 year.
2025 year, the assessed value is 85,100, and then the taxable value is the same, $85,100.
Did your friend purchase the property in 2024?
I think so.
Right. So the tax is uncapped in 2025.
Oh, but she's an investor, so
Right.
let's start there.
Okay.
All right.
So she purchased the property, and investors, you buy multiple properties. You should know this. Like, you should see a pattern and at least ask some questions, right?
Right.
So the year after she purchased the property, the taxable value uncapped. Now, the home may have needed a rehab. It may have been dilapidated. I don't know.
Right.
But if you don't let the assessor's office know, they're going to use the mass sales study, and they're going to place a value on your property, and that's where your taxable value is going to uncap.
So listen to this. She had a question about that. So she asked me yesterday to ask you, Jackie, if the property is assessed. So the tax assessment, if the taxes are paid this year at the assessed value and the assessed value is lower next year, what happens to the difference in the amount of taxes that she paid? Does she get a credit?
No, she lost her right to appeal that value this year, right?
Okay.
And what happens is people get that yellow notice and it says this is not a bill.
Right.
So you know how we do.
Right.
It's not a bill. To the side.
Right.
This is not important. It's very important.
It is.
You have to exercise your right to use that appeal process. And in the city of Detroit, you don't always have to come to my board. I sit on the Property Tax Board of Review. I'm the vice chair. I've been on the board for 5 years now.
Okay.
And as a result of that, I went and got my assessor certification because I really wanted to really understand. So I'm a level 2 assessor. So I really dive deep into assessments, valuations, and taxation on properties.
Okay.
It is your responsibility with your assets to know your rights.
Right.
Okay.
And you send a letter. Like,
And we
these are
send
your rights.
and the city of Detroit sends a thick packet with all types of information in it because we didn't want people to be able to say, well, I didn't have the information. You
Right.
had the information in Spanish, Arabic, English. They spend a lot of money on sending them packets out.
Do they?
Yes. Read the dang on packet. And you don't get to go back and say, well, I want to do over.
Yeah.
You had now if she comes in next year and we look at the property, and here's the other piece.
Okay.
We have to assess the property for the value of that year.
Okay.
So you done went in and you rehabbed this property. I can't go back and say, well, last year it was only worth $20,000, so I'm slapped $20,000 on it. No. You didn't came in, now you a year later, you've renovated the property, you probably making income off the property, you got somebody renting it. I'm asking you all those questions. How much rent are you receiving a month?
So when they go into the board of reviews, they got to answer those questions.
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, you come in and I want to know, how long was it on the market? Did you have an inspection or appraisal when you purchased it? You coming in, you know, we have folks come in and, you know, you buy in these historical neighborhoods and you drop $700,000 on this property. And then you come in and say, well, I think it's only worth $450,000. And I'm going to ask you, well, why'd you pay $250,000 over what you thought it was worth? How, you know? You coming in here trying to lower your taxes.
Yeah.
So you're telling me your property isn't worth anything.
Yeah.
And we have to get out of that mindset also.
Right.
Why are you depreciating one of the biggest assets that you have just to save on taxes?
That part. So let me ask you this, because again, I work with a lot of investors, and they are sticker shocked when the taxes go up. Oh, the taxes are going up $6,000, $7,000. I had one guy, he bought a property from a homeowner on Pennington Street, bought the property for like maybe $180,000, $190,000. And I think maybe like within 6 months, he got his bill. He's like, Marlesha, the tax bill is $7,000. What am I supposed to do? I'm like, pay it. I don't know. You know, and he's like, the taxes are so high. So let me ask you, why is that? Is it because they purchased in the LLC and it's a higher taxes for the investors?
So, not necessarily. So, of course, we know about the principal residency exemption, right?
Right.
And that saves you, I believe, 16 meals on your tax bill a year because you own and live in your home.
Okay.
But outside of that, the voters have voted in several millages for the city of Detroit.
Okay.
We have a very high millage rate. And on top of that, property is selling in the city. I don't know where there's like a notion that nothing is of value in the city of Detroit.
I hate that.
People are dropping money, and I'm talking about not just downtown. They're dropping hundreds of thousands of dollars on properties in the city.
They are.
That drives the assessed value.
Okay.
So when you're talking about taxes uncapping, I mean, it's something that they voted on. I believe it was in 1995, Proposal A.
Oh, shit. Okay, you taking me back now, Jen.
Yeah, Proposal A, because before, your taxable value will fluctuate with your market value. And, and it was upsetting people's financial situations. And now we're in a situation where, again, the way that the properties are being taxed is upsetting the financial stability of people's households. I mean, we can't deny that the taxes aren't high.
Yeah.
But they're legal. It's a legal mechanism and we can continue to vote for the millages. So I think there's going to be some talk about ratifying the state constitution, because Proposal A, nobody ever expected for inflation to hit 5%.
Right.
During COVID, we had several years where the inflation hit 5%. Your taxes were jumping insanely, numbers that we had never seen before.
Right.
Nobody expected it to be this way. Nobody expected for small homes to be selling for $150,000.
Right.
Nobody expected it to be this way. But the way the system is set up, that's the way it's designed, and it's working the way that it's designed. And the office of the assessor, and nor can the board of review of any municipality just devalue property simply because we're trying to save on taxes. We got to come up with a better solution. But the solution is not devaluing your property.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. You know, during COVID, I remember people were buying houses for like $35,000 as investors, and then investors would come in like, "Oh, I'm not spending $50,000 on a property in Detroit," and I'm like, "What the hell? $50,000 on a house is good." And you know, they want to come in $50,000, put $10,000 in, and get Section 8 rent, $1,500 a month. You know, and I'm like, okay, but you can't devalue the property just because it's in the city of Detroit. Mm-hmm. So now where we're at with the market, those $35,000 homes, they're now $60,000.
Yep.
You buying $60,000 houses and have to do a full rehab.
Yep.
Trust me, I'm working on 3 of them right now. You know, and my clients bought them at $50,000, $60,000 in. So, and that's I'm get happy with your tax bill that you have now.
Well, one thing I do say to investors is, or anybody who's buying dilapidated property in the city of Detroit, you need to bring it to the board. You need to bring it to the assessor immediately.
Okay.
Let them know the home, because a lot of times they believe the home are in fair and average condition, and it could be poor and unsound. A lot of these properties, especially if you're renovating them, you're purchasing them, they
Yeah.
don't have HVAC systems. There are a lot of things that aren't in the property.
Okay.
If you can get your assessed value to match the actual value of the property, that's where your taxes uncap at.
Okay.
So
okay.
you don't want to leave the city out of that process. You want to notify them. But again, some investors come in, they don't want you to know they're renovating rental properties. They don't want to get their certificate of compliance, right?
Yeah.
That, they don't want to go through those processes to become a legal rental property in the city. So they believe, like, I'm just going to shun all those
crazy.
departments. In reality, you want to work with them.
Right.
Just like payment in lieu of taxes, that's a new program that launched for people who are investing in multifamily properties in the city of Detroit. If you got a duplex, a triplex, a quadplex, even if you have a single family home, there's a program called the pilot program.
Okay.
And as opposed to taxing you based on the assessed value of the property, they tax you based on the income that you're making on the property.
Really?
Yes, it's called the pilot program.
Okay.
There's a state level and there's a city level program, and I encourage all investors to take advantage of the city level program. It's new and it's going to change the game for them as far as their taxable obligation.
Now, where would they find the information about the pilot program?
Literally, if you Google Detroit pilot program, the site is going to pop up. It's
Okay.
through the city of Detroit, and if you have questions, you can work with HRD,
Okay.
the Housing Revitalization and Development Department in the city.
Okay.
And they'll point you in the right direction.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, that's some good news.
Mm-hmm.
I hope y'all listening up. The pilot program, reach out to HRD so that way they can help you out with your taxes. Okay. So what kind of stuff do you see down there at the tax assessor office? Do people come down there mad?
Yeah, they do come down there mad.
Do they?
A lot of times it's just not understanding what they're looking at, or, we get a lot of people, a lot of organizations who try and take advantage of people to push a narrative, right?
Okay.
So they're trying to push this narrative that property isn't worth anything in the city of Detroit. So they dragging your grandma down there saying my house isn't worth anything, and really she's trying to get her taxes taken care of. And we got a HOPE program for that. There's a poverty program for the city of Detroit. You can get exempt from 10% to 100% of your property taxes based on your income and household size.
What?
Yes. You don't have to go in and devalue your property.
Yeah.
If you genuinely need assistance. So they'll drag, they come in and they got these representatives and they drag grandma in there. And grandma's like, my house, it hasn't been renovated in years. The ceiling is falling in. And I'm like, ma'am, your house sounds unsound. Are you sure this is what you want to say on record?
Right.
This is not the mechanism to lower your taxes. And they'll come in and they'll have these representatives. And the representative will come in and say, well, I think her house is only worth $5,000 true cash value. The wood is worth more than $5,000.
Exactly.
Okay, the scrap is worth more than $5,000. You didn't drag grandma down here and convinced her that her house is worth $5,000.
That's insane.
And then at the end, I look at it and I'm like, ma'am, your taxable value is $2,000. Even devaluing your home to $5,000 is not going to impact your taxes.
Girl, what? That's insane.
But they convince folks and they come down there and they're upset.
And who are these people that's convincing grandmama to do it?
I have my theories.
Okay.
And I think a lot of it has to do with people who are watching the market know that Detroit is one of the best places to invest in right now.
Yes.
But
yes,
how
it
are
is.
you going to get a hold of the property if people think that they actually own something that's worth something?
Exactly.
If you can convince them that what they have is worth nothing, they'll
Yeah.
give it to you for pennies.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will.
If you can convince them that their quality of life will be better because I'm devaluing your property and I can save a couple dollars, they'll buy into it immediately.
Yeah.
And then what happens is we've devalued the property. Now we can come in and snatch it all up. And guess what? When grandma's ready to come back across 8 Mile, that little $800 square foot home she has is going to be made into a tiny home, and they're going to be renting it for $2,000 a month just for the feels.
Right. That's insane. Now let me ask you about tiny homes. Have you ran across any tiny homes with the taxes and anything yet?
No, we haven't seen a lot of that. We
Okay.
haven't seen a lot of that. We've seen a lot of the renovated historical homes.
Okay.
And I love historical homes. I live in a historical home. I live in Rosedale Park. And
Okay.
I love the level of care you have to put into renovating them.
Yes.
And it's not an easy task. And there is a lot of red tape.
Yeah, I know. Like, you can't mess around with the windows and stuff like that. It has to stay in a historical condition with certain things.
I tried to have a company come out and just give me a quote, and they were scared to give me a quote.
What?
They said, we've been sued before.
Get out of
I
here.
said, can you just give me a number so I know what I'm looking at?
Ballpark.
And I almost passed out. I was like, okay, well, we just going to
Leave it here.
leave it the way it is because that's quite, it's quite steep. But you get a lot of folks that come in with the historical homes. Mm-hmm. They spend a lot of money on these properties, $700,000-$800,000, and they get in and it still has knob and tube wiring.
Okay.
You still got like when I moved into my house, you still had to screw in fuses. Yeah, you don't even have a circuit breaker.
What?
Yeah. So they pay all this money and then they get in and they're like, well, I still have to renovate it. And then they tax us uncapped. So they're like, they're spinning,
Yeah.
You get folks who come in from out of town and think that they're getting, a low cost living. And then they come in and criticize everything about the community.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, what brought you here? You're upset because of the taxes, but
Yeah.
you wanted to be here.
Yeah.
So there's always all types of people who buy the condos.
Yeah, especially Detroit condos. Those HOAs are insane.
Not only the HOAs, just the mortgage in itself. I mean, you talking about the condos are 1,000 square feet and they pay $400,000 or $500,000 for them.
Jesus, they just they're unrolling some condos
At the Hudson.
Yeah,
600,000.
Girl, I seen that. I was like, damn.
But that's nothing. I'm talking about. I mean, those condos on the river go for $1 million,
What?
and they don't even be 2,000 square feet. They be the tiniest little.
But you know what? I'm here for it though, because our city has been dumped on, trash, drug, talk about Detroit. And baby, we up.
We up.
Now you got to pay to stay here.
I love it.
I'm here for it. You want to, run it up.
Please.
Yeah, because we're no different than New York. We're no different than Miami's, the Los Angeles. We're no different than those small cities. And you know what? I was looking at the taxes yesterday in Warren. I was like, damn, the taxes on these houses are $9,000.
Yes.
Why are the taxes so high at Warren? I was like, that's insane. The
Because
millage.
of the millages and the uncapping. Like, Detroit isn't unique. Like, it's not like we have high taxes, yes, but it's not like we're not comparable to other cities in the area.
Right.
Like, the taxes are just high. We voted for the DIA. We voted for the zoo. We voted for this. We voted for that.
Yeah.
We have all these expenses. On top of that, you do have the HOPE program. I mean, our board processes between 15 and 20,000 HOPE applications.
Really?
For poverty tax exemptions. And the board only has 9 people that sit on the board.
Damn. So y'all be busy.
All the time.
So what's a day like down there? Like, what is a day in the life of sitting on that board?
You got to make it work. I mean, because at the end of the day, it's still a board, right?
Yeah.
So, each of us is responsible for processing our own applications. We have committees. You do end up treating it almost like a full-time job.
Okay.
It's getting better. It's getting more virtual.
Okay.
But for me, poverty tax applications are not a big deal. You know what you're looking for. Mm-hmm. You try and help as many people. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, a lot of those programs are sunsetting, like PAYS. We used to have PAYS.
Okay.
And you used to have the tax relief fund with Rocket.
Okay.
A lot of those programs have disappeared.
Really?
So now it's just hope. Like, I'm not the pressure of trying to make sure somebody got into a program or made it through my program so they can get into another program to save their house.
Yeah.
I mean, that's gone, unfortunately.
Jesus.
But yeah, and then we got March. In the city of Detroit, we hear so many appeals that in March, I make it my mission because I am vice chair. I feel like it's important for me to at least be present for all decisions. I'm in session Monday through Saturday, the entire month of March.
Jesus. So you just there hearing all cases.
Hearing, running numbers. And what I do, there is a mass sales study, but if you come in and tell me that you feel like your property is being overvalued, then I'm going to take a real close look at it. I'm going to break it down to price, the properties that are as closest to square footage.
Okay.
I'm making sure that the condition matches. Sometimes they are being overassessed, but that doesn't mean that they're being overtaxed.
Okay.
And a lot of times that's the point.
Yeah.
And I'll ask them when they come in, like, do you feel like the assessed value of your property is driving the taxable value? And then, 8 times out of 10, they're going to say yes.
Yeah.
And then I have to go through that educational process where, no, these are 2 different numbers.
Jesus.
You've been in your home for 15 years. Your assessed value is up here. Your taxable value is down here. I would have to rate your property as unsound to impact your taxes.
Damn.
Because that cap does help.
Yeah, it does.
Once they put that cap on, hold on to it. And make sure you're doing it correctly. So, like, I'm not an attorney, but look into putting your properties into trust.
Okay.
And who are the trustees so that it doesn't uncap. Transferring property to your kids, your parents, first blood affinity, it won't uncap.
Okay.
So instead of having grandma give it to granddaughter, have grandma give it to daughter, daughter give it to her daughter.
Got you.
To avoid the uncapping.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Learning those little tricks so that we know how to keep our properties in our family, and we can maintain them and not be overburdened by the financial responsibility.
Yeah.
The other folks know it.
Yeah, they do. They know all the tricks in the trade.
The other folks know it. We don't know it. And we try our best. I see folks come in and try their best trying to keep it, and they just do one thing wrong, and it messes everything up. You have to be very careful. I always tell people, contact a real estate attorney. If you're trying to make sure that this is set up right so that it's in your family and you're not being uncapped every time it transfers to somebody else, contact a real estate attorney so that you can have this set up appropriately.
Yeah.
Because grandma's house will uncap, and you got cousin Ray and Pookie in there who not paying taxes.
Right.
Now you got a taxable obligation of $7,000 a year out the blue on a house that they ain't even paying rent on. They just, they in grandma's house. They chilling. It's a family house. So we have to be very, very intentional with our assets, and we have to seek out assistance, and ChatGPT and Google are not it. You really have to make sure you're protecting your assets.
Yeah. Now let me ask you, because now when it comes down to the foreclosures, it's 3 years. So it's like 3 years. So you go into foreclosure after not paying your taxes in 3 years. What does that look like once you get that foreclosure notice? Do you just automatically say, okay, we're coming in foreclosure, or do you still try to give them some time to catch up after 3 years?
Baby, once you at foreclosure, you at the county. You at the county. It's nothing I could do for you.
Okay.
That's why I said those programs, the PAYS program, the Rocket Tax Relief Fund, those were programs to where if you qualify for the HOPE program, okay, then your next step was to get in the PAYS. And then your next step was the Rocket Tax Relief, where they was paying your back taxes.
Okay.
That doesn't exist anymore. So if, we like to play this game where it's like we're going to pay on the 3rd year, and then we'll pay on the 3rd year.
Yeah.
And you still owe 2 more years, and we see it all the time. Don't do that. Get in the payment plan. Stay on top of it. Just stay on top of it. Do not let it get to that 3rd year. And I've seen some folks, and I don't know how they did it. Maybe they got in payment plans, but they got taxes dating back to 2015, and they still own the home. And then the county catch up with them.
Damn. And then it's too late.
So now you got to pay 8 years worth of taxes because you have to pay up to that 3rd year.
What?
Because legally they will take the property. They have to. And one thing that I don't know Eric Sabree personally, but I have heard very good things about him. And I do know that he tried his best to avoid foreclosing on properties that had property tax, who owed for their property taxes.
Right.
The courts came in and told him, no, take the houses.
What?
Because when you owe property taxes, you don't just owe the city of Detroit. You don't just owe Wayne County. You owe the state of Michigan. That money goes to a lot of different places.
Yeah, yeah.
So he can be compassionate, and it's somebody else's money. The courts told him you got to take them houses, and he fought. He tried his best not to have to take folks' houses.
Jesus. Well, Jackie, let's head to a break real quick, and we're gonna come back and pick up. Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you. We heading to break.
Guy meets a girl at the grocery store or at a party, and then they lock eyes from across the room, and then they fall madly in love with each other. My name is Taylor. It's nice to meet you.
I think she's the one.
What do you even know about this girl, Cal?
I don't forget no faces.
I never teach you how to flex from people. Tell me about this girl.
I think this one's special, Jules.
Wow. So much information. Now my girl Jackie is dropping all of the jewels and all of the gems about property taxes. And it's so much good information. And I'm so thankful that you are here again because, I'm not going to lie, I'm in real estate. I try my best, right, with property taxes, but baby, once we go so far, you call me back a year later talking about taxes, I'm just as confused as you are at that moment. So how would realtors and real estate professionals be better at educating themselves when it comes down to the actual property tax information?
I would say take classes.
Mike, no.
Okay, there we go.
Get your shit together.
Take classes. I have a older daughter, one of my bonus babies, right?
Okay.
And she wants to go into real estate.
Okay.
And one of my requirements is when I pay for this real estate course, you got to take an assessing course also.
Okay.
The assessing courses are $1,000.
What? Where they at?
They have some in Lansing. Excuse me.
Go ahead. It's dry in here anyway. We need a humidifier.
They have some in Lansing.
Okay.
They have some online. You can look for Michigan assessing certifications.
Okay.
There are 4 in the state of Michigan. And the beautiful thing about assessing is it's something that you can add to like your playbook.
Yeah.
You can do assessing consulting. You can take over a city's role.
Okay.
Like I'm a level 2 assessor.
Okay.
If I wanted to, I could seek out a job with like a Highland Park and be their chief assessing officer.
Really?
And sign off on their role.
I'm trying to look this up right here. Assessment class. Hold on. Let me put in here property.
Michigan assessing officer.
Okay. That sounds real big.
It does. Again, we don't know about it. So there's all these firms out here, that do assessing for cities, because most cities aren't like the city of Detroit where they have actual assessing department. They have to outsource it to a business.
Really?
Yes, and the business manages their assessing and their property tax role.
Okay. I found it right here. Okay.
Yes, those certifications allow you to get those contracts.
What?
Yes.
Give me another job then, Jackie. Find me another stream of income. Shit.
If y'all would just go take and you don't, for y'all, even if you don't want to go into assessing, you ain't even got to pass the course. Just being in the class to better understand what's taking place, how values are being placed on these properties, what exemptions are available.
Yeah.
It's so important. There are also some assessors who offer courses. I'm getting ready in the summer to offer courses. I won't offer courses in the city of Detroit because I never wanted to be a conflict of interest with the board.
Right.
But just courses in general for real estate agents to better understand where these numbers are coming from, and encouraging and giving you all the confidence you need to really discuss this with the buyer.
Yeah.
Because there are some realtors who do know.
It is.
But they don't want to say anything. because they're scared of losing the sale.
Yeah.
Because if my buyer knows that my property taxes are going to uncap and I done got finance and I'm about to buy this, I got me a $350,000 house and, I'm moving on up.
Yeah.
And then you find out your property taxes are going to uncap at a taxable value of $150,000. And what that means, it scares them. But you can help them know. I mean, like in the city of Detroit, we got neighborhood enterprise zones.
Okay.
That gives you about a 15% reduction on your taxes if you qualify for 15 years.
Really?
Yeah.
And a neighborhood enterprise zone. Mm-hmm. What's that?
So there are particular areas in the city of Detroit that benefit from that tax benefit.
Okay.
So if you live in one of those areas, you would simply apply. You would commit to investing, I think it's $500 in your property,
What?
and you receive a discount for 15 years.
How would somebody find out? They got to Google it, neighborhood enterprise zones. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you got to Google the neighborhood enterprise zone.
And all the communities for the city of Detroit will pop up.
Wow.
And you would just apply through the office of the assessor.
Get out. So it's many ways to cut the cost of property taxes. Now, does this work for investors?
No.
Okay.
No. Because you have to own and live in the property, right?
Yeah.
It has to be your principal residence.
Gotcha.
Now, the good thing about the investors is they got the pilot program this year. Before, they didn't have a pilot program.
Okay.
Now, with the pilot program, I do know that you have to commit to investing $5,000 in each unit
Okay.
that you're receiving pilot program exemption, status
Yeah.
for. But in the long term, $5,000 really isn't a lot of money for a property.
It's not.
That you're going to be renting out.
Yeah, because you're going to spend that. That's bare minimum.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've been encouraging so many investors, especially the ones that came to the board this year, to look into the pilot program because they wasn't available before. Take advantage of it because you never know how long these things last. But that is something that's beneficial for them when it comes to their taxes.
Okay. Okay. Now let me ask you this: when it comes down to nonprofits in the city of Detroit and they purchase homes, are the taxes exempt from them?
They can be.
Okay.
Now, you still have to prove that you're using it for a charitable purpose.
Okay.
Okay. And sometimes people try and get around that. And it can be as simple as I'm using this building as storage for a charitable something that I'm doing at another building.
Right.
But you don't have to lie and make up like programming like I'm running a group meeting out of here 5 days out the week and I got people feeding them. They coming in. You ain't got to lie because they're gonna come and check on you. Like don't lie, Craig.
Oh,
they're going to
come check.
Yeah, they're gonna come look and see. Just be honest. But you do have to be using it for a charitable purpose.
Now, when we talk about charitable purposes, this means you cannot be getting any income from it.
Technically, yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. I just want to know, some of my clients are investors and they do the tax exemption.
Right, but it has to be in a nonprofit name. Like, it has to be set up appropriate.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So, but it still got to be proven because y'all go check.
We go check.
So, hypothetically speaking, Jackie, I'm a multifamily unit. And I'm a nonprofit. I do have a nonprofit, right?
Okay.
So hypothetically speaking, I go buy this property in the city of Detroit, and I got tenants in here, and they're paying rent. So I can't say this is a charitable purpose.
No.
Okay. I'm just making sure. Just making sure. The shit I deal with out here. I'm just saying.
I understand.
Okay, so it has to be like, okay, I have this building and I'm doing this and I'm storing some stuff for some things.
Yeah, or like if you're offering services, let's say, maybe it's very, very low income housing. They're receiving these services for free, or, there are a lot of different ways that you can be offering charitable services. But if you're just using it as a rental property,
yeah, no. Okay, and and again,
the assessor's office does check.
The assessor office is going to come check.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm just saying, they know who they are.
They do.
Yeah, that's insane because ultimately that was one of my things. I wanted to get a couple multifamilies under my nonprofit, and it was going to be like a safe house for girls.
There we go.
You know, and it was going to have like some beds, and I was going to get like maybe a nursing staff to be on call for some girls, psychiatrists, you know, just in case they're having issues at home. You know, they won't be out here on the streets and risk of being sex trafficked. So that was my vision with my nonprofit. So that is a good example that.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm just making sure, because I try to stay as legit as possible with shit.
You know, you got to try.
Yeah. So, all right. So, Jackie, now, if I have a house and I get this yellow piece of paper and this package, it comes out when?
It's sent out late January, early February. Now, in the city of Detroit, you have the option of going to what's called the assessor's board.
Okay.
And that's when you can go to the assessor before the board of review, and they'll take a look at it. And they might reduce.
So they only got 30 days. I'm sorry. They only have like 30 days to get this done? Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. And they could just walk in, or do they have to schedule appointments?
You schedule an appointment with the office of the assessor.
Okay.
You can email your appeal in. They'll take a look at it. Send pictures. Like when you're sending in appeals about the valuation of your property, don't come to us and say it's a burnt down house down the street and, you know, they don't pick up the trash. Because we're going to be like, well, what about your property?
Right.
What about your property? Because this is my opinion on the matter when it comes to market value of the property in the existing area. That's already implied in the sales study. Mm-hmm. People are buying properties in these areas and they're looking to see what's around them.
Okay.
So for me, I'm usually not inclined to devalue a property based on what they call economic obsolescence. That means outside factors outside the home that impact the value of the home.
I remember
Right.
that word on real estate exam.
Right.
Okay.
Economic obsolescence. I'm assuming that that's already implied in the sales study
Okay.
because the homes are similar and they're in a similar area.
Right.
Okay. I want to know what your property looks like. Is there water damage? Mm-hmm. Is there structural issues? How old is the piping? Is there electrical, things going on? I need to know what the state of your property is. And that helps the assessor's office and the board of review make the best determination about the value of the property.
Got you. And then, because these are not bills, and they only get one time a year to do it, and they have to wait till next January, February when the documents come out,
Yep.
and then they have to appeal it. When they get this yellow package, you got 30 days. Okay. And that's for any investor, any homeowner, anybody.
Yep.
Okay. All right. And what else you got? Oh, we were talking when we first started. What was that you were talking about? The group of people that buy the raggedy houses.
Okay. So there was an investment group, and it's funny because I got to look to see what happened. So they decided that they were going to sell fractional pieces of real estate via cryptocurrency, right? So you could invest in a rental property in the city of Detroit just by paying $50. And the premise was that they were going to receive weekly payouts from the investment. So this particular group, I ain't going to name no name,
Right.
came into the city and bought up swaths of rentals. I'm talking about hundreds of properties, right?
What?
Apartment buildings, single family homes, multifamily homes. They were just buying up everything. And they got in there, and they realized that there are property taxes, right? And
Right.
now the particular owners for this particular company are not from the U.S.
Okay.
They're not from the U.S.
Go figure.
So they got property taxes. They actually, I believe, they're about to lose a vast majority. I think they lost them this week because they owed 3 years on the property taxes. So they came in and they didn't do anything to renovate or repair these properties. So of course, naturally, people stopped paying their rent because they're talking about flooding in the basement. Some apartment buildings didn't have any heat. The repair guys, their handymen were quitting because they weren't getting paid. There was just nothing happening.
You said the handyman were quitting because they were not getting paid.
Not getting paid.
Okay. Keep that
Yes.
in that. You know who
Yes.
I'm talking to.
So there was this, big thing where, now they're trying to say, okay, how much are these properties really worth? Mm-hmm. You already owe a lot of taxes on them. You have tenants in here who are supposed to be paying in the escrow because now the courts have gotten involved.
Right.
They're paying in the escrow, but still no repairs are being made. So it was just a huge mess. And you see that a lot. We see a lot of out-of-country investors coming in and buying, these large packets of properties, $200 and $300, and paying pennies on the dollar for the properties, and then they just let them sit and dilapidate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
won't do nothing.
Won't do anything.
And that's another thing. I have scaled back on the type of clients I accept for property management. I had to really redirect and restructure my business. I will not, and they when they sign up or they inquire, I send this out like, you have to have a cushion for repairs. Like, you cannot come to me saying that you don't have any money for repairs. Like, you gotta have at least $10,000 in account per door. Per door. Okay, if your rights are 20 of 23 tax are forfeited, how can you sell? We got default issues. What the hell? What happened? I can't read it.
Is she asking if the property is already forfeited?
I can't read the thing.
She basically asked if the rights of the 23 tax are forfeited, how can you sell it if your rights are forfeited?
How can you sell the property?
Yeah.
Well, if you owe 2023 taxes, I'm sure they already filed foreclosure with the courts.
Okay.
You need to contact Wayne County Treasurer to find out if they've begun the foreclosure process.
Okay.
And if they haven't, you're still entitled to the property. It's still yours. You can sell it, but you need to let the buyer know that there are property taxes that are owed. And you all will have to discuss that, but you need to check with Wayne County Treasurer first to see if they've already begun the civil process to taking the property legally. Because on March 31st, that paperwork's filed.
Yeah, I had a referral reach out to me about his taxes, and what I got from it is that he's there right now with the foreclosure, but he signed a purchase agreement, I guess, with like a wholesaler, another realtor, to try to hurry up for them to buy the house. I don't know how that works because it's a property that's going to the county. That's like that's just like a mortgage, because ain't no redemption for the property taxes, right?
No.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I know it's a redemption if you're doing like a mortgage. I do those all the time, but I didn't know if it was a redemption period for the property taxes. So if the money's not there by March 31st, it's already going to the county for it to be.
It's going to the county unless you. I've heard of miracles.
You heard of miracles,
but I wouldn't bank on them.
Yeah.
If you're trying to sell your property because you owe property taxes, you need to get that done before March 31st, and they need to pay that money before March 31st.
Yeah.
They need to be prepared to pay the property taxes.
Yeah, but it's 2023 and 2026. But yeah, I did scale back on my clientele on as far as like how I manage the properties. They have to get COCs. Mm-hmm. Even if it's vacant, you got to get a COC. I cannot deal with the headache of blight tickets and why we haven't done this and haven't done that. Like it's actually a simple process. It's really simple. It's really affordable.
Yes.
If you don't buy a raggedy property and you buy a livable home,
yeah.
I think the inspections are like $220.
Yeah.
You pay the inspector to come out. He tell you what needs to be fixed. You fix it and you call him back out. And then you upload the documents. Simple process.
It's simple. And for Section 8, you don't need the city certification. If you have a Section 8 certification, you don't have to go through the city.
No, you just use the Section 8 paperwork and upload it, and you're good for 3 years.
Yep.
I love the process. It's really easy. But also when you talk about the vast majority of the investors being from out of country, I always get hit with like package deals. Like people want to buy 30 packs. They got a 30 pack of houses. And so this is coming from people that bought houses, didn't do anything, and now they're just sitting.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a guy, he I think he's in Florida or New York. He asked me about a property, and then I drove the neighborhood. I said, no, I can't take that property, y'all. It don't fit my criteria. He's like, well, I was just wondering if somebody was living in the house. I said, well, shit, I don't know. I'm not going to knock at the door.
And you ain't even flew out to figure it out.
Ain't even came here to check on your investment properties.
Nope.
That's insane. So again, I wanted to clear up that whole notion too, where some people's like, oh, they probably just inflating taxes to keep outside investors out of the city and make it to where it keeps investors from being investors and stuff like that. That's not the case when it comes down to property taxes.
No, that's not the case at all. Everybody has the right. So what I do encourage everybody is the year after you purchase your property, you need to come to the board of review. Even if you don't think you're being over-assessed, come talk to us. Okay. So we can help explain what's going on, because you don't always know. So no, there is no intentional inflation of assessments on. Okay. People are buying these properties and they spending good money. Yeah. Spending good money on these properties. Yeah. It's not an intentional thing. It's just the way that the market is moving. We're seeing a little bit of a downturn. I do believe that values are probably going to drop next year. Okay. But that doesn't mean it's going to impact your taxable value. So
just because the property value, because it's still lower, don't mean your taxes going to go down. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I'm hoping that the property values don't go down. I'm hoping that it keeps steady. But at this rate, I mean, properties are sitting longer. I noticed on the listing side, some of my houses has been sitting longer. Yep. In the city of Detroit. And I don't know, but I know one thing. I love the fact that the city has come up, and I love everything that they're doing. Now, do you think... what are some things that you think also that impact like the property taxes besides like the millage rates and those things? Do you think like maybe our elected officials could do anything about it when they go off and promise, this and that when it's time to run for office? Can they change anything with property taxes?
I think that they can work to encourage new legislation and policies too. Okay. But as far as just coming in and saying, I'm going to lower this. Yeah. No. I think that we're going to start to see some creative solutions. Okay. Because the truth is, Detroit is growing, and we do want a wide demographic of socioeconomic backgrounds to be in the community. Right. Right now, if you buy $1 million house in the city of Detroit, you should expect to pay at least $20,000 in property taxes a year.
Whoa, you just gave me goosebumps. You said $1 million house gonna cost $20,000 in property taxes. Yes. So if I got $500,000, I'm gonna pay $10,000. Close. Jesus Christ. Yeah. You know what? I'm about to tell you something. Y'all about to laugh at this. So, my girlfriend had got divorced from her husband, right? And she was like, yeah, he done went downtown and bought this house. So what I do, because she my homegirl, right? Best friend. Baby, his taxes was $10,000. I was like, girl, his taxes is $10,000. I mean, they ain't got no money. She's like, what? The property taxes were $10,000.
And his mortgage ballooned.
Baby, I was like, I need to look it back up, see if they behind on their taxes or need some relief. Mortgage foreclosure,
It's happening every day.
Is it?
Because you get approved for this number. Mm-hmm. The bank is going off the previous year's taxes. Okay. So that, they set your mortgage and, with your property taxes and your insurance, all in the mortgage. And you like, okay, cool, I'm at a comfortable $1,800 a month. And then them taxes uncapped. And your mortgage shoots to $2,700, $3,000 a month, something you just never planned for.
And you know what? That's why it's important. I do tell my clients when they're buying a house and they escrowing, keep all paperwork and keep on top of your tax bill, because just because you've escrowed, now you're relying on the mortgage company to make your payments to the taxes, to the county and the city for your taxes. They're not really keeping up with that tax bill. And now a year later, you're like, shit, my mortgage payment that went up for $500. It's because the taxes then came out. Now they got a deficiency from the escrow that was being kept, you know what I mean? So now your bill went up and they think my mortgage went up. Yep. No, your taxes went up, not the mortgage itself. But because you wasn't keeping track of your tax bill that comes out, looking at the documents, calling that servicer saying, hey, I got a tax bill. I just want to make sure that you guys are aware, because I've had clients that's like, my mortgage went up. And I'm like, no, your taxes went up. Did you get your tax bill? Mm-hmm. So, Jackie, how often are taxes due?
Taxes are due in July and December. Okay, that bill comes out in July and December.
Thank you. So all the folks know your tax bills are due July and December. So where would the people go down to talk to the board again? Can you please drop that address just for the folks that don't know?
Okay, so the board.
Or when they come down there to dispute their taxes.
All right. So you can appeal to the March Board of Review beginning late February every year. The instructions are in that yellow notice.
Okay.
It's a digital process, so you would go to DetroitMI.gov/Board of Review, and you'll click a link, and you'll start scheduling your appeal process. And you got to make sure you have all your stuff in, because if you don't turn all your stuff in by the deadline, we can't put you on the schedule.
Gotcha.
So pay attention to that. As far as questions about your assessment, you can always contact the City of Detroit assessor.
Okay.
There, you can go down to room 130 at the City County Building to Woodward. They're there. Board of Review is processing HOPE applications year round.
Okay.
If you want to apply for property tax assistance, you can go to DetroitMI.gov/HOPE.
Okay.
And it take you straight to the application. And
okay.
Yep. There are plenty of nonprofits that help.
Okay.
So if you get the application on the website, you can call a number. You can call Wayne Metro to get you an appointment. Somebody will walk you through the application to make sure you get it done.
Okay.
And I always tell folks, you can apply up to November 7th, but try and get it in as soon as possible, because the board only meets 3 times a year, and that's when decisions are ready in.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So we just closed March. The next time we open up for an official board meeting is July, and then our last official one is in December.
Okay. Okay.
So if you don't get your stuff in and processed before that July board closes, you waiting until essentially next year to get your decision.
Okay. Okay. And Jackie, thank you so much. And you know what? I just want to shout out Vu at the People's Action for making this possible, us being connected out here. So TPA, hey.
TPA all day.
All day TPA, okay? One of the most dominant, prominent nonprofits in the city, making things happen, making sure that the CVA team is out here keeping the peace in our community. I commend you and I salute you. And Jackie, again, thank you so much for taking the time out your busy schedule to drop these gems on us in the real estate field. And hey, I'll see you at the next TPA event, girl.
That's right.
See you. See you, girl.
Are you an indie podcast or content creator looking to reach a wider audience? Look no further. Introducing Podcastic, the ultimate podcast network designed exclusively for indie creators like you. At Podcastic, we believe in the power of unique voices and fresh perspectives. We're here to amplify your passion and creativity, connecting you with a growing community of engaged listeners who crave original content. Podcastic is more than just a platform. It's a support system built for indie podcasters, offering a range of resources to help you succeed. From tailored promotional campaigns to professional production assistance, we're here to help you shine. Our intuitive platform makes it easy for you to be seen and heard. We do all the heavy lifting for you. You just show up and create. Plus, with our advanced analytics, you'll gain valuable insights into your audience's preferences, allowing you to refine your content and grow your fan base. Ignite your passion, expand your reach, and thrive with Podcastic. Visit our website at www.podcasticlife.com to get started. Podcastic, the home for indie podcasts and content creators.